Welcome everybody to another edition of TEW 2020. As you can see, we're starting a new series here. So basically, I was thinking, going over some ideas for a new series that I could do to sort of fit another spot here. And I want to do something related to the Cornellverse since I'm already doing something in 1997. But frankly, while I like 2020, I haven't gotten any juice when I do any of the 2020 things I've tried to do with regular Cornellverse. But I noticed on the Great Dog forums that somebody, BrokenCycle I believe, put up a 2016 Cornellverse, basically changeover, what's the word I'm looking for? I lost the word. You know where I'm looking. Conversion, there we go. Conversion of the 2016 to 2020. So since I actually enjoyed playing that, and there's lots of fun stuff that happened that I want to go over. So I'm going to do that, and what I've decided to do is I'm playing as TCW, because they're always my favorite company to do, and they're in an interesting place because it's basically a year after Cornell sold them off to Bryco. So, we're third in the world, but we're sort of on the downwards. We're not quite, on the downward spiral they went through 2020 where they lost everybody and the old people were retired. But, so they're sort of in this weird position where they either go really up or they could end up like they are in the 2020 version of the Cornellverse. So again, just to go over things, for my user stats, I'm playing as myself. And for user stats, I gave myself, that's not the right thing, for user talents, I made myself a really good negotiator, really good creativity, decent and motivating, and bad at, actually talking to the wrestlers. Because the whole, backstory I'm giving myself is basically I'm somebody who works at Bryco and we're given the job because I said I actually like wrestling. But again, let's go over our roster. So, from the top, you got Aaron Rodgers, the ace, the chosen one, the man, the current world champion who just defeated Rocky Goldenfort 2 months ago. And also, he's a heel. American Buffalo, big tough powerhouse, has Floyd Worthy as a manager. He's really getting up there in years, so he's probably going to be used as a mid-card act, and that's it. And then eventually retire in the long run. Bart Biggins, who is, of course, with Brent as a tag team, but he's now in TCW by himself. And yeah, he's a little older, but he still has a couple of good years with him, so he's going to be a decent part of the mid-card. Benny Benson, the former Elmo Benson, and Grouchy Black, who, let me see here. Yeah, so he just showed up at Christmas, basically, to show up, so he'll basically be given, the new guy push. Brent Hill, who's, part of the Machines, but basically he's the former head booker. He's, a heel. He used to be part of the syndicate, etc., etc., but now he's getting really old, Brian Vesey, who's, basically, he's Scott Steiner. Scott Steiner stayed a wrestler. He's a badass. He's a heel. He's really over. And yeah. But there's something unfortunate about him that's going to cause some issues, as I'll show in the goals. We got Chance Fortune, who has a team with Daryl Devine. They're two young guys. Well, Daryl's 32. But yeah. Charles Hapsinger's a manager. Danny Fonzarelli is, of course, former Darkness Warriors, but now he's become Dr. Love. And yeah, now he's an upper mid-carder and, a fun character. We got Dazzling Dave Diamond, who's, a brawler. And, yeah. And he's just an undercard worker. We got Ed Stone, who's, of course, the 24-hour party animal. One of the Stones, has been in TCW for a couple of years. And, yeah, is slowly rising up the card. We got a Chandler, who, of course, with John Maverick, who I can't find, because, is he not? Hold on. I thought, okay, he has a tag team, and I forget who it's with. With Nate Johnson. So yeah, he and Chandler formed the Elite. They're former CGC guys who are now in TCW. Eddie Peak is, of course, Eddie Peak. He's a badass. He's crazy. He's yeah. The good news is, he can switch force between face and heel. So eventually, when I can turn to being a crazy guy, there we go. Elliot Thomas, undercard, jobber. He might hang around. He might not. Floyd Worthy, manager, really over, has lots of charisma. Flying Jimmy Fox, former Coastal Zone guy, and he's a decent worker, so he'll probably hang around. Freddie Huggins, he turned heel. He's with Ed Stone as Canadian Animals, and yeah, he's actually pretty decent. He's better than you think, and he's more over than you think. Giantana is, of course, somebody who's hated by a lot of people who play TCW, but I actually enjoy him. You need a little bit of fun goofiness on the TCW roster. It can't just be all serious men doing serious wrestling things. Guide and Scout, of course, they're the tag team of the tag teams. So the New Wave, they just recently lost the tag champions to another team we'll get to in a minute, but, we'll get to that in a second. Human Arsenal, of course, Human Arsenal turned babyface, and yeah, he's decently over. He's slightly younger than Brent Hill, so he might have a slightly longer run. Again, if you notice, lots of old people. Lots of old people. Jasmine Saunders, of course, Clark commentator. Jason Azaria, announcer. Jake Cord is, of course, the future guy. Yeah, he's already getting real over. He's not quite super over main event guy, but he's getting there. That's me. Joel Bryan is, of course, a straight shooter. He's older guy, getting over. Again, just lots of old guys who wrestle well, but that's about it, with no charisma. Joshua Taylor is babyface, fan favorite, used to be in Japan, solid wrestler, not the best on the mic, but currently, yeah. But he's a good work rate. Killer Shark and Titan are, of course, big scary guys. Kyle Rhodes, he's new CEO. Lauren Huggins, of course, is Freddie Huggins' sister, and, actually pretty decent on the mic. Mark Speed is, of course, a badass, badass MMA badass, current heel, current international champion, but there's an issue with him that we'll get to in a second. Matt Hawking, he's a dude. Mighty Mo is, of course, a former, legitimate athlete, hottest prospect, a little older, but still getting over, yeah. Nate Johnson, we went over. Ray Johnson, of course, a ref. Ricky Dale Johnson is, he's getting real old, and I expect retirement from anytime soon, but he's still real good. So yeah. Robert Oxford is, of course, with Joel Bryan as a tag team. Oh, no, he's a road agent. My bad. Rocket Golden is, of course, the guy. Even more than Aaron, he's the guy. He has a 91 average. Let's look. Okay, so he has a contract for. Okay, so I have him for 4 years. That's great. Because if in 4 years I haven't fixed TCW and this is still running, then it's my own fault if I lose him. But yeah, he's insanely over. He's our figurehead, and yeah, he's Rocky Golden. Sammy Bach is, of course, Rock God. Really over, getting a little close. He's getting getting close to old, but he's he bulked up, so he's a heavyweight, so that's going well. Frank Doak's manager, Troy Tornado. Yeah, he's a heel, egomaniac, getting older, but also, yeah. Vita is Ed Stone's manager, which I know it's always funny that the Canadian Animals have two managers, and Warlord Payne is our other road agent. So, creative-wise, Rocky Golden is our franchise player. Next big things are Jake Cord and Mighty Mo. Hot prospects are Aaron Andrew, Jake Cord, Titan, Killer Shark, and Mighty Mo. Talk to Talk is RDJ. Semi Back, Rocky Golden, and Peak Wolf Hawkins. Showstoppers is Back, Hawkins, Benson, Cord, Andrews. Ring Generals is Bryant, Hill, Wolf Hawkins, Brian Vesey, and Jake Cord. And yeah. Storylines is, we start with storylines being American Buffalo versus RDJ, Brian Vesey versus Sammy Back, Joshua Taylor versus Wolf Hawkins, Rocky versus Aaron, and Jake Cord versus Mighty Mo. Teams-wise, we got Divine Fortune, the Behemoths, Canadian Animals, the Elite, and the New Wave here. Titles. Current champions. Current world champion is Aaron Andrews, who just won the title for the first time, defeating Rocky Golden. World Tag Team champions are Killer Shark and Titan, who just beat Sex Scout and Guide, and the international champions Mark Speed, who won the belt in December. Events and TVs, we got TCW Principal Wrestling, and of course our monthly events. Let's see here. Backstage. Our Backstage is good. And now for the size-wise, we're a 78 basically everywhere in the USA, 58 in Canada, low in Mexico, really low everywhere else. So that's why we're behind SWF and USPW. And yeah. Oh, and a couple things I have done already is, first, broadcasting-wise, I basically got us on TV in Europe, England, and Mexico, and same thing with pay-per-view. And the other big thing is what I've done is I made a couple deals with some companies. So let me just pull up the news. So yeah. So we can send people down to Coastal Zone. We can have a talent trade agreement with CCW as well, and we've done the same thing with QAW. Because in the long run, I do want to create a women's division here in TCW, and also bring some new people in, but I don't want to do a total rating party thing. So at the beginning, there'll be an open door policy. I also look for some younger people to just sign for the sake of signing them. But again, the owner goals is the other thing I wanted to show you guys. So, first thing, financial balance must be improved to $5.5 million. That's fine. I can do that. You cannot hire by your academy who already works for a company of medium size or above. So no, so yeah, this is the create your own damn stars thing. Colorado wants you to build a vibrant tag team scene. When time expires, you must have at least 4 active tag teams with a minimum of 40 experience. That won't be too hard because they already have more than a couple tag teams that are active and have that experience. But these are the big two. You cannot hire or extend the contract of any wrestler as less than 16 charisma, and you cannot hire or extend the contract of any wrestler as less than 16 safety. So this one isn't too bad. Like, that's just, don't kill people in the ring. But this one sucks because both Brian Vesey and Mark Speed are the two big guys that don't have that. So if we do a quick thing where we get everybody who's under 59 in charisma, so Bart Biggins, but he's right at 58, so hopefully he can improve. Brent Hill, but he's getting old, so honestly, I'll might not re-sign him as a wrestler. Brian Vesey, but Brian Vesey is the big one because not only is his charisma at 45, his contract is also up in 2 months. So yeah, he's a referee, doesn't matter. He's one of our young guys, so I might So it just depends if get over. I might just let him go and re-sign him eventually. Joel Bryant, again, he's old, so he'll probably let go at the end of his run. Killer Shark is at 58, so again, hopefully he'll gain 2 points in 2 years. Mark Speed is the other big one because he has 6 months, but he only has 40 in charisma, so that might not be so great. And then Titan is the other one. His charisma is at 43, but I have a couple of years with him, so that might help. It just might depend. So that's the thing. So again, what we're going to try to do here is book a couple shows, set up a couple shows, and that'll be that. I want to book probably a couple shows per video, maybe 2, because it's a 2-hour show, but it's actually relatively easy to book since it's TCW, so there's lots of wrestling. But I'll just see how we go here with the first set of shows and figure out things after that. Okay, and welcome to the first TCW Total Wrestling being held by Total TCW in Los Angeles, California, in front of 13,000 people. So basically, the show starts out with basically pay-per-view highlights from previous nights, or TCWs or pay-per-views on the final day of the month. So as we're coming back from the pay-per-view, we put over that Ricky Dale returned to help cost American Buffalo his match. After, of course, American Buffalo took him out for a couple months, and that Aaron Andrews made his first successful title defense. And just so you know, here is sort of the canon that I'm deciding results. Let me see here is where to make that bigger. And whatever, I'll just go. So basically, in the main event, we had Aaron Andrews defeating Joshua Taylor. We had Mark Speed winning the international title off Bart Biggins in a match that also involved Jay Cord and Mighty Mo fighting each other. We had the Titans defeating the New Wave. We had Sammy Back defeating, it says Benny Benson, but it should be, who's his feud partner? Now I'm blanking on his name. Sammy Back defeated Brian Vesey, yeah. Not Benny Benson, that was just stupid. And then in his debut in TCW, Benny Benson defeated American Buffalo after RDJ returned and basically caused a distraction for Benson. Wolf Hawkins defeated Giant Tana, and Human Arsenal and Fonzarelli and Fox defeated Lee and Brent Hill. So the setup for the Hawkins and the main event is basically, and it sort of sets up their other feud, is that in a shocker, Joshua Taylor actually defeated Wolf Hawkins in a match with the number 1 contendership on the line, and that sets up the main event here. But yeah, anyway. So, these pay-per-view highlights, it gets a 67. Then we go to and if you notice, there's no Rocky Golden on the show. I specifically didn't have Rocky Golden on the show, but for the idea that, he basically, since Golden has lost the title, he has not been on TV, which was at the end of November, or was it October? Let me double check that. No, okay, yeah, so what I'll say is, now I need to double check, because now I'm not 100% sure. Titles-wise, World Champion, Aaron Andrews, okay, so he won the title in November. So basically, I'm going to say end of November, because why would you do your Andrews to Golden World title match, anything else on a pay-per-view? So Andrews won the match in November, and in the Cornellverse canon, this was a 4-way. And now, after a month away, what happens is basically, Aaron Andrews comes out, talks about how, he's still the ace of Total Champion Wrestling. Last night, Joshua Taylor's a great wrestler, but he's not the best wrestler in the world, and that's who he is, and there's nothing more you can, there's nothing nobody can say about it, as I'm the world champion, I'm the best wrestler in the world, because I'm the ace. And that, of course, to Rocky Gold's music, to a big pop, as Rocky Golden comes out and basically, says that, he had a good holiday season. He hung out with his family. He enjoyed, being away from the ring for a little bit, because he's been on the road for, months upon months. But, as he watched last night's pay-per-view, he realized something. He never got pinned for that title. So, Rocky, you want to face me? Bring a partner for tonight, and I'll show you that I'm still the deserving world champion, and my reign will continue to be golden. Aaron Andrews agrees, and we've got our main event for tonight. So it's going to be Andrews and a partner versus Golden and a partner. So this got an 81. Let's see here. Zaria Rhodes, not great at commentary, better deserved commentary, and it's crowd hotter. Let's see here. Yeah, announcing work, poor calling him. Okay. So might need to go searching for some new announcers, maybe. Who knows? And then we have our opening match, which is in a battle that didn't have much heat in Tribal Wrestling. Benny Benson defeated Eddie Chandler in 12-4 by pinfall. This gets a 55. So Benny gets a 59, Chandler gets a 48, but this is just basically a match to get Benny over, as he's made his TCW debut last night at the pay-per-view as a surprise opponent. Or no, I think it says in December, so I'll say he appeared on the last Total Wrestling before the pay-per-view to be, get hyped as Buffalo's opponent since RGR was still injured, and now Benson got the big one. Now he gets another big one here. This gets a 55, solid stuff. And then Benson celebrating gets a 53 because again, he's not the most charismatic guy in the world, but he's he can do some stuff. Then we move on to where basically where Jasmine Sanders is with our with Joshua Taylor, who lost last night to Aaron Andrews. He gives Andrews all the credit in the world. But I want to talk about something. I saw that on social media, Wolf Hawkins was sort of basically that he was talking about like he was in the ring with Andrews, he'd be the new world champion. Well, I failed. Well, Hawkins, I already beat you once. So let's see if we can do that again. If you think I got lucky last time, we can hook it up one more time, and I'll pin you one more time, or I might even make you tap out. So Taylor, solid promo, gets a 63, not the end of the world, but again, but yeah, good stuff. As we go to our next match, which is going to be the Canadian Animals, defeated Dazzling Dave Diamond and Flying Jimmy Fox in 9:39 when Freddie Huggins pinned Dazzling DDT with a Huggins kiss. This gets a 57. So Huggins and Storm, are your prototypical cocky heel tag team, who are also high flying. They fly all over. Vita and Laura Catherine Huggins don't distract, but they're on the outside. In the end, the actual team gets the big win. This gets a 57. Ed Stone gets a 62. Freddie Huggins gets a 60. Fox gets a 56, and DDT and Dazzling Dave gets a 51. And then all the King Animal Celebrating gets a 57. And yeah, Warlord Pain, not a great origin, which is something I'll probably going to have to figure out and fix. Then we have a backstage in where we see RGR RDJ arriving in his truck, and as soon as he gets out of the truck and is heading past security, he's confronted by Floyd Goldworthy with American Buffalo behind him. Floyd points out that his client lost last night because of your interference. RDJ's like, well, I didn't do anything, I just was there, and that's a horrible Southern accent, but your guy there, he got so distracted that he got pinned. Whose fault is that? He's chewing his tobacco, and Buffalo just sort of gurgles around him, but throws in the back, and Goldberry's like, you got lucky last time that we didn't destroy you once and for all, but if my American Buffalo gets in the ring one more time, it will be the end of your career. 68, solid promo, good stuff. Then we have basically Eddie Peak in the bowels of the arena, basically sort of they're tossing stuff around as the announcers put over that he's not been seen in a couple months since losing. He has not been seen since he was part of the 4-way match in November that gave Aaron Andrews the title. So this gets a 65. Then we're back in the ring, as in a battle at DC from the crowd, but Terrible Wrestling. Brent Hill defeated Q Arsenal in 15:01 by submission after blatantly cheating. So what happens here is Hill gets the big win. Hill gets the win. It says Hill cheats, hits Arsenal. So yeah, Hill drills Arsenal with some sort of foreign object. It knocks him out for long enough for Hill to get him a submission. Ref calls for the bell, and of course these former partners are not done fighting. Where this gets a 63, Arsenal gets a 59, Hill gets a 53 because they're both getting older, and Hill's in the ring. He says, I don't want to fight you, John. We were partners forever, but you got yours. you got to bug up your ass about doing the noble thing when really, when was your career the best? When we were wearing suits and kicking ass. So do that. And he sort of holds out his hand, and Arsenal just sort of walks away. And this gets a 54. Then we have a backstage statement where Tornado are egomaniac heel, and Danny Franzarelli, our goofy, level babyface, run into each other. Troy puts over the fact that he'll be Andrew's partner tonight, and Franzarelli's like, that's cool, but I'm going to be Rocky's partner tonight, and we're going to kick your ass. 68 for solid promo, just, let's him get over. Troy says, it's pathetic that you're dressing up like a rock star when you're not one. And Danny's like, no, these are just clothes I wear. I'm Dr. Love, baby. 68, solid promo. Then in a bout of detract from the crowd, but terrible wrestling, Brian Vesey defeated Matt Hawking in 7:49 by submission. So Vesey gets a 69, Matt Hawking gets a 45, and this is just a pure squash. Like, this is just Brian Vesey. Like, Hawking gets a few hope spots in, but then Vesey makes Hawking tap out. This gets a 56. And then Vesey, in ring, calls out back, says, he got lucky last night, but if he gets in the ring, he'll tear him apart once and for all. This gets a 65. Again, not the best, but what can you do? Then we have Mark Speed, a quick promo, who has his title belt, and he says, you can say all you about how I won this belt, but at the end of the day, I'm the champion, and anybody who faces me, we have two choices: tap or hear your bones snap. 56 because it's just a quick 2-minute promo. And then Wolf Hawkins is with Jess Sandra. Does this is a 63? Interesting. Probably not long enough or something. Or I am braiding Sanders, which I probably shouldn't, but I just wanted to see. Like, I'll try Wolf and Folks by themselves and see if Jasmine really brought him down that much. Anyway, Wolf, sort of flirts badly with Jasmine. Well, not badly, but first obviously with Jasmine again. Jasmine brushes him off, and Wolf's like, I heard Taylor talking earlier about, trying to explain his pathetic performance last night. Well, I won. But, Taylor, let's talk next week, and I've got an idea to figure out who is truly the best wrestler among us. I know it's me, but if you want to have this silly idea that you're a little better than me because you got lucky for 3 seconds a month ago, so be it. But if we face off in the ring again, there'll be a reason why I was the head of the syndicate, I was the head pick protege of Tommy Cornell, and why I'm the greatest wrestler alive. 63, solid promo. And then we go to a backstage where, Cord and Mo almost brawl again and had to be held back from other people. This gets a 61, as this feud that has lasted forever continues. And it's main event time, which gets an 80. Good stuff. And about had good heat in these wrestling. Rocky Golden and Danny Fonzarelli defeated Aaron Andrews and Tornado in 21:09 when Rocky Golden pinned Aaron Andrews with the Rocky Road. I imagine that's some sort of, let's be honest, Rocky Golden is kind of John Cena, so it's some sort of, AA type maneuver. Gets a huge pinfall victory over the world champion in his return to the ring. Fonzarelli gets a 61, Golden gets an 84, Tornado gets a 62, Andrews gets a 69. Let's see if there was any, let's see here. Unable to use high risk moves, finding physical ability, okay. I might have to take off high risk move just to help with in-ring stuff. That's weird. That's weird that it's in here. I guess because he said he's owned by a toy company, but I can justify that. At least I'll try to. Anyway, this gets an 80, and then Golden celebrates afterwards gets an 82. And overall, we are okay. So it gets a 77, which again, that main event and that opening saved us because the middle was kind of the dregs. But what can you do? So let's first look at what the other shows did tonight, and then we'll see if we get any interesting mail, any new goals, or any of that fun stuff. Doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Hirings. Lots of fun stuff. So let's look at the mail. So we had Brandon James turn face. That's interesting. We had Hollywood star and John Steer now team. So but let's look what SWF did. So they got a 76, which is actually pointless in us. So Joey Morgan defeated that guy, Valiant and Captain Atomic, to retain the North American title. Jungle Lord, Angry Gilmore, and Jack Bruce defeated Joe Sexy and the Pain Alliance. Awesomeness retained the tag titles. And yeah, interesting. Not the worst show. Not the best show either. Let's see here. Email. No other goals. No direct test fees. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see here. Let's look at our storylines real quick. Okay, everything's still good enough. And yeah, and let me just double check our announcers. Okay, so I mean, I guess it's just because it's such, yeah, they were so good that, yeah, because I don't think I'm going to find anybody better. But regardless, so I think what I'll do is I'll get up to, because I want to get this to at least half an hour for a show, is I'll get up to the, I'll see if we get, I'll do little signings and see, and, you know, update that, and go over my, you know, general plans for things and go from there. So I'll see if with that in just a moment. Alright, it's now Tuesday, just a minute before the next tour wrestling show. So what I want to do is I want to go over, like, any, like, big changes as far as hirings, just because, like, USPW, TCW, and SWF, of course, have been doing lots and lots of sightings, so I just wanted to go over those and show you guys what's going on. So, let's go to news, let's go to January, let's go with worker signings, and let's start with the big boys, USPW. So, yeah, they hired a whole bucket load of people. So they hired Daniel Sweetheart, Jack Griffith, Jonathan Cahill, Grandmaster Funk, Frosher, Foxy LaRue, Paige Croft, Zoe Amos, Harry Allen, Aldous Blackflyer, Finley Faraday, California Love Machine, Suzanne Brandel, Hell's Bouncer, Fox Mask, Texas Beat, Kirk Jameson, Rudy Velasquez, Nadia Snow, Kashmir Singh, Remy Sky, Joan Rodriguez, Peter Michaels, Debbie Rose, and Steph Blake. Meanwhile, the SWF, not to be outdone, hired Mask Cougar, Roger Craig, Brent, Donnie J, Stevie Grayson, and Eric Tyler. As far as other companies around, oh yeah, North of the Border North of the Border jumped in here. They also hired Dante Dunn, Ozzy Golden, Christian Price, Ryan Powell, Gargantuan, Warren Technique, Joey Posen, Bobby Thomas, Shane Nelson, Thrill Seeker, Steffi Chase, American Fly. So they basically did the let's make the Canadian Wrestling Alliance, whether CGC wants to or not. So that'll be interesting to see how other companies respond to that. But I have made a couple signings. So if you can see here, we signed Ant-Man, we signed Haley Buck, we signed Intrepid Identity, and we hired Brandon Perfell. I didn't want to hire a whole ton of people yet, but I did want to make hires that would make sense for sort of the product we're looking at. So of course identities are really good, Stone Trainee, Haley Buck's a charismatic manager who I have a plan for. Ant-Man is a good wrestler, and Bradford of course is a charismatic guy who has a decent gimmick and can do well in the ring. I do have 2 more signings that might happen, but those haven't happened yet, so you won't see them until you see them. Regardless, that's it for now. But again, just to go over things, so the plan for this will probably be one of my weekend videos I put up along with the Cornellverse 1997 save, and then during the week will likely be just the normal things you guys are used to. WCW 2001, MLW, WCW 1983, and possibly the Women's Wrestling. The Women's Revolution save, I go back and forth because I totally screwed up things at the beginning, and there's a lot less wrestlers than I realized there was available. So I just wanted to totally raid TNA. At that point, why don't I just book TNA at Knockouts Division? So that's the one weird thing. But, I do want to, I did actually enjoy booking this a lot more than I thought I would. I thought there would be, a little bit of a slog, but, I booked it, I don't say, fairly easily, but, I rolled through it pretty easily. And, if not for the fact that, I wanted to not have a, just insanely long video for the first video, I would have just gone through the next Total Wrestling. But yeah, the basic plan is I'll probably book a couple weeks, or basically same thing as with my MLW, not quite with my MLW or WCW saves, because those are I just booked through the whole thing monthly. With DCW, I'll probably book a couple weeks per video. Probably what'll happen is it'll be 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks plus the pay-per-view, or just 2 weeks, stuff like that, and then go from there. But regardless, I hope you enjoyed this, so go ahead and give it a like if you enjoyed it. Comment below if you're enjoying this, and subscribe to the channel for lots of TEW 2020 content like this. One may even argue way too much TEW 2020 content, but regardless, go ahead and give a subscribe, and talk to you later, and adios. Have a good one.